Our first guest this week is NovAccess Global Incorporated, stock symbol XSNX. Welcome to the program, gentlemen.
Good to see you, Don.
Dr. Dwain Irvin, you're the CEO of the company. How is the company progressing with its milestones, and what can we look forward to in 23?
Great. Well, we're progressing quite nicely. You know, we have an immunotherapy company to treat the most common adult brain tumor, glioblastoma multiforme. We have a public company that we started roughly 2 years ago as a public structure. And we believed at that time we had completed all of our preclinical work in this analysis. And so we had sought to go to the FDA to have them help us determine whether or not that is indeed the case, and we're ready for human clinical trials. And so in the last year or two, we've had pre-IND interactions in which the FDA has suggested that we are indeed done with our preclinical analysis and can pursue an IND application. And along the way, of course, we would like to accelerate bringing this technology to market. And so we were hoping to also seek designations like orphan drug status and potentially be able to start trials in later phases if possible. And so we're pursuing that in the years of 2023. We've recently obtained the orphan drug status just the last couple of days. So some of the milestones we seek to achieve now moving forward for 2023 are to actually file an IND application in the first half of the year, as well as uplist to NASDAQ before the end of 2023. And so these are some of the significant milestones that we hope to achieve over the next year.
Well, as I mentioned earlier, we're joined by members of your board of directors. Jason Anderson, welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
And Chris Wheeler. Chris Wheeler, welcome to the show.
Thanks very much. Pleasure to be here.
Now, what does this orphan drug status mean, and how is it going to be helping bring this technology to market?
So orphan drug status is really a designation that is meant to encourage the development of drugs for diseases that are less common. And so gliomas are a less common form of cancer, but of course account for a disproportionate number of cancer deaths. So it's an important disease. So what orphan drug status really gets us is exemption from certain user fees, already a savings in multi-millions of dollars. It gets us tax credits for qualified clinical trials, and it also grants us up to 7 years market exclusivity after FDA approval of the market drug. So it really saves multi-millions of dollars in the drug development process.
Well, Jason, this is really a big deal, isn't it? I mean, it can't be understated.
No, it's been a pleasure for those of us on the board to watch Dr. Wheeler and Dr. Irvin and the rest of the team shepherd through not just the scientific and kind of bench side, preclinical program to bring this therapy to this kind of inflection point, but critically now to watch the federal government respond as it has favorably to the orphan drug application. And one of the things that I think is really important for your listeners today, Don, to take away from this orphan drug approval is that the FDA decided to expand the scope of the types of brain cancers that we would be able to go ahead and have trialed as part of our work. And so I think that's a testament to obviously the quality of the application, but it's also reflective of the fact that this just remains a terribly challenging cancer type across the globe. Almost 300,000 plus people will be afflicted with brain and central nervous system diseases over the course of the coming year. The greatest concentration we see with both diagnosis and death, places like East Asia, Western Europe. The three countries most afflicted are the ones, of course, with the biggest populations: China, India, the United States. And we've not really moved the needle well in terms of survivability when diagnosed with glioblastoma. It's not really budged like we've seen huge progress in things like breast and lung cancers over the last few decades. So I think the agency's kind of leaning in the stirrups here with regards to the applications reflective of not just confidence that, we have our ducks lined up and in a row for beginning clinical trials, but also just the continuing and yawning unmet need for people who really need a breakout that are afflicted with this disease.
Well, gentlemen, why has immunotherapy for gliomas failed to benefit patients the same way it's benefited individuals with other cancers?
So other cancers are sensitive to a certain type of immunotherapy that kind of takes the brakes off the immune system and allows the type of immune cells that recognize and kill cancers to really respond wholesale to the cancer. And that's drugs like Keytruda, Yervoy. They're called checkpoint inhibitors. And that's when you see, big melting away of tumors throughout the body, sometimes in patients. For whatever reason, it's kind of unknown. Glioma patients, glioblastoma patients really don't respond well to these types of therapies, but they have responded pretty well to the type of therapy that we're developing, which is dendritic cell vaccine. It's just that not enough patients respond to get those big whopping melting of tumors type of responses. So what we've done with our therapy, the TLR81, is to improve on dendritic cell therapy because it really hasn't been improved on in the ways we think are necessary to get those big immune responses. So we've kind of boosted it, kind of turbocharged the dendritic cells in a way that we think will be much more beneficial to glioma patients and get those bigger responses that we hope. So it's a long answer, but I think we haven't seen the type of success in the immunotherapies that benefit other cancer patients and glioma patients. So we're doing something different by boosting a established immunotherapy and dendritic cell vaccines.
Well, we feel privileged being able to eavesdrop, so to speak, on a board meeting of the company. I'll put this question out to the first one who wants to answer it. Why is this a good time right now for people to take a closer look at NovAccess Global?
I'll go ahead. It's a great time because we are really at the beginning stages, if you will, of demonstrating or attempting to demonstrate safety and efficacy for our technology through these human clinical trials. It's a great opportunity now for investment. We have a significant growth in front of us, provided the technology continues to be successful as it moves forward. And furthermore, we have more assets that we plan to bring in to help improve the quality of life for glioma patients as we move forward. So again, it's the beginning and a great opportunity for investors to come in and help support the company.
Well, congratulations, gentlemen, on the orphan drug status determination. NovAccess Global, XSNX stock symbol. Thanks so much for joining us on the program, guys.
Thanks, Don, for having us.